Welcome to an episode of Inner Work Guides, Alchemical Gnosis, Yoga of the West. I'm your host, John H. Reed III. Let's get to it. Sustainable Transmutations. No Need to Go to the Mountaintop, Part 1. Last week we talked about how the reason for anyone doing anything is essentially unknowable. At best, we are left in the position of having to accept or reject the credulity of their explanation. Indeed, our judgments about the reasons for another's doing anything are a projection of the whispers from those forgotten voices of ourselves. But how did we lose sight of the sources of those whispers? The biggest lie of all that children are presented with in various subtle and evanescent ways is this: you as you are not enough to be loved. Most tribes don't say this outright, but rather show it through action because love, acceptance, and safety come with terms from the tribe. So if love was conditional, we learned to earn it. If feelings were shown to be unsafe, we learned to hide them. If your house had a lot of tension, you might have learned to be easygoing. If your house had a lot of anger or fear, you might have learned to become silent and strong. You might have had to hide because you were considered the loud one, the sensitive one, or maybe the scared one. Based on the abstract nature of these compiled programs, because each tribe's taboos are slightly different, society might reward you for such traits, but then again, they are not born of choice, but actually fear. Because on a very primitive level, you understood to upset the tribe could equal expulsion and death. Now, our systems did not wait for logic to do this, because often when these patterns are being instantiated, we are too young to possess logic. But our systems respond to tone, tension, touch, or the absence of those things. And so our responses are compiled into a package that we call our personality. What makes confronting these programs, this compiled personality, difficult is that it doesn't feel out of place. In fact, it feels like who we are, because we too have bought into the lie, or what we call in hermetics, the bondage of illusion. Our brains and nervous systems wire themselves according to the structure of our early relational experiences. Because of that wiring, that programming, personal growth can feel like a loss as we untangle ourselves from the identity we created to survive. Those things we learn to repress give birth to what we call the shadow. And as time passes, those true aspects of ourselves get pushed deeper, it seems, with each passing decade. Here's the thing, though. Your persona is not fake. It is just incomplete. It consists of those bits and pieces the tribe felt were acceptable for you to show. In Hermeticism, healing is not about self-improvement, or healing in the conventional sense for that matter. It is about self-recovery. When you reconcile with those parts and stop trying to be good or thinking you're bad or not enough, you move closer to inner unity and living a real life. This is how you learn to make space for yourself, to be able to say no, and to give voice to all those aspects of yourself that had to be silenced. And mind you, this isn't a 12-week process, but rather a life journey. But every time you choose presence over perfection, honesty over performance, you illumine the lie and lessen its grip. We should not hate our shadow because we made it to survive. It contains the bits and pieces of ourselves we had to discard. Indeed, we cannot move into wholeness by excising more parts of ourselves. Wholeness comes from integration. Our shadow parts are not weaknesses, but rather keys to the hidden parts of ourselves. My mentor calls them angels hidden in the basement, And next week, we're going to talk about how to use their whispers as breadcrumbs to find our way back to that portion of ourselves we have hidden away. Thank you for listening to this episode of Inner Work Guides Alchemical Gnosis, Yoga of the West. Don't forget to follow or subscribe. Visit our website at www.innergarden.org. For more information about Hermetic training in practical laboratory alchemy or inner work, write to info@innergarden.org.